Right then, this is a compilation of dangerous lifts. These are various video clips I found of lifts doing things which they're not meant to. Although on a couple of clips it's the people who are at fault and not a lift. Now later on in the video I'm going to show videos of lifts that I've come across and I've filmed which I feel are dangerous. I've actually come across a good selection of lifts I feel are unsafe. But before we go on to that, let's start off with clips from the internet. Now, a lot of these clips of dangerous lifts involve the lift free falling upwards, brake failure. This is because the counterweight balances to the lift car when the lift car's at half capacity. But when there's only like one or two people in the lift's below half capacity, the counterweight's heavier, so the lift will free fall upwards when the brake fails. The video clips you find online are usually either from China or from third world countries where safety is not something that's taken that seriously. But one thing I like to say is that something that really angers me and disgusts me is that in the UK, the regulation for bi-directional governors did not come in until 2016, despite the fact it is well-known common knowledge that there is far more lift accidents of lifts going upwards than there is going downwards. Yet, from when the electric lift came in around 1889 all the way to 2016, that is 127 years. It took them that long to put in the correct regulation, and the reason for that is because of uninformed, unintelligent, stupid idiots in charge of this country. Because people go by their stupid, uninformed opinions when they have zero knowledge and have no idea how things actually work. Because people think, oh, a lift could plummet down, that's bad, we need to prevent it. Despite the fact most accidents are because the lift goes upwards and crashes into the ceiling. How could it have taken them 127 years to fix the regulations for this? And also the lift companies themselves, even though it wasn't regulation to 2016, surely they should have put in bi-directional governors long before that, because everyone knew what the problem was, except stupid people go by what they think despite it being wrong, and most people are scared of lifts plummeting downwards even though the opposite is the case. Anyway, rant over, let's get on with the video clips. The first video is this one. This is a typical scenario where the lift starts going upwards because the brakes are failed. In these video clips, it doesn't appear that safety is bypassed, it does seem like it's brake failure because how the lift starts slowly moving upwards. When the lift gets up beyond the door zone, often the outer doors slam shut because the outer door is no longer connected to the inner door and the outer doors are sprung to close. The next video clip I'm going to show is another classic brake failure video. The lift starts moving upwards, but in this video it's very close to the person getting crushed by the lift. They only just get out of the way in time. So then, let's now move on to another subject from brake failures, because there's a lot of video clips online of brake failures. But let's move on to another subject. The next subject I want to talk about is lifts without door lips. On most lifts nowadays, on the inner and outer doors, there is a lip, so that when the doors close, when the doors come together, rather than this being a flat edge, there's a slight sort of lip to it. That's so very thin objects can't get caught in the doors and safety connects. Even with the thinnest of objects, the door won't close all the way for the doors to get to a position for safety to connect because of that door lip. On lifts without a door lip, they do have the risk of safety connecting with when there's a very small thing in the doors. So then, the next video I'm going to show is a video I've already featured before on one of my lift misconception series, which is another lift that doesn't have the door lip. The child sticks an umbrella in the lift doors, safety manages to connect, and the lift starts moving. And in my lift misconception video, I actually talk about the fact that a news article claims that a lift free falls, even though it doesn't. But hey, that's typical of badly written news articles. Now, next video I'm going to show is the danger of dog leads, because if a lift doesn't have the door lips, say as small as a dog lead could allow safety to connect. While lifts should have beam sensors, on nudge mode sometimes beam sensors get ignored and not all lifts have full beam sensors the whole way. But on this clip, even though the doors look like there's a door lip, this is not a door lip, this is actually a safety edge on the door, and when the doors come together those safety edges retract. So this lift does not have beam sensors, it only has a mechanical safety edge, which is how this accident happened. In this video clip, a dog lead gets caught in the doors, the person's outside the lift and the dog is inside the lift. Then the lift goes down, causing the dog to be dragged upwards. But luckily, the lift only goes one floor and there's enough length in the dog lead so the dog doesn't get crushed. But if the lift had gone down 2 floors, the dog would have been crushed and killed. This video is actually very good for illustrating what this hazard is. So, we're now going to stay on the subject of door lifts because it seems to be something that most people seem absolutely oblivious to the hazard. Now, in lifts, I often hear the most mundane, uninformed people talking utter crap, and it's so frustrating. But one that really gets at me is when people go, it says this lift should take 13 people. There's no way you'd fit 13 people in this lift. Like, fucking hell. Do people not understand that's a capacity? The lift's designed so you can't put in the full capacity for safety. But, anyway. Now, as for other examples of completely misinformed conversations I've heard in lifts, one time the lift doors were closing and someone wanted to use the lift. They were pushing a child in a buggy and they pushed a buggy between the lift doors to activate the beam sensors so the doors would open again. Now, in England, that is completely safe to do. In Soviet Russia and ex-Soviet countries, that is not safe to do with the lifts over there. But in England, that is completely safe because there's no way that safety would connect with a buggy in the way of the doors. But once that person got out of the lift, other people in the lift started mumbling about how that person put their child's safety at risk putting a buggy between the doors, even though the child's safety was not at risk, because there's no way safety would have connected with a buggy in it. And this shows that people's hazard perception is off, because people saw that as a hazard when it wasn't a hazard, but meanwhile something like a child's reins, which is pretty much the same thing as a lead, it's like putting your child on a lead, that on the other hand is a hazard, because if the lift doesn't have door lips or the door lips aren't done correctly, there's that risk of safety connecting with something that thin between the doors. People just really surprise me with how uninformed they are sometimes. Anyway, back on the subject of the video. The next video clip I'm going to show you is the exact same hazard, exact same accident with a dog lead, and this accident seems to happen a lot. Another thing I'd like to say is about nudge mode. Nudge mode is when the lift beeps to tell people to get the fuck out of the way of the doors if they hold the doors open for too long. Well, some lifts will close the doors when something's away from the beam sensors, then will refuse to open the doors again. That's not so much a problem, but some lifts will completely ignore the beam sensors and then start forcing the doors shut. I personally feel this is dangerous, not because the motor itself, the door is dangerous, it's very weak and that won't hurt you, but on the situation of a dog lead being in the door, that's the point where it gets dangerous. The next video I'm going to show you is the most scary video of the lot. Now, I'm not going to show anything gruesome because there are gruesome videos out there. I don't like gruesome videos, and I do not like the fact there's some fucked up people out there that deliberately upload gruesome videos to the internet to shock people. That is wrong. So I'm not going to show anything gruesome, but this video, let's put it this way, is very close to being gruesome, but luckily isn't. But this could have gone so badly wrong. Let's now move on to a completely different subject. Let's talk about demolition sites. Now, these are not dangerous lifts because it's demolition, and let's put it this way, demolition people like to have fun. In this video, the person that's filmed it is trying to make out I've just come across this lift and it's really dangerous, but when you look at it, I reckon this is a demolition site and they've done it on purpose for the fun of it because there's too many things about it which don't add up. The inner and outer door safety is bypassed, so this lift runs bypass, so it falls into the lift as it goes up. Looks quite scary, but I reckon this was done on purpose for the video. So then, demolition people like to plummet lifts, either for fun or because they need the lift to plummet to do their demolition. To do that, you cut the governor cables first before you cut the main cables. Otherwise, the governor acts how it should do, pulls the trap brakes and stops the lift from plummeting. And that's exactly what's happened in this video. This lift is not dangerous. The governor has literally done its job properly. Cables are cut, but a lift has not plummeted. Either they found it like this or they've done it in the wrong order. So they actually get something on top of the lift to smash apart the track brakes to make the lift plummet. Now, the health and safety here is terrible. Later on, you actually find out the person doing this is actually on a rope, so they wouldn't have fallen down the lift shaft. I seriously hope they were on a proper harness and not just some makeshift thing. Although that said, this is still very bad health and safety, and the rope it on had a lot of slack in it, so even though they wouldn't have plummeted, they would have still fallen a bit and banged into the wall and had a minor injury. This could have gone so badly wrong. But here is someone smashing up the trap brakes to make a lift plummet where the lift has been held by the governor. So then, that's enough clips on the internet. Let's now take a look at the lifts that I found in public service, which I feel are dangerous. So I've been filming lifts for a very long time. I've been to a lot of lifts. Now I know over the years I've found a few lifts which are dangerous and are doing things they shouldn't. So let's have a look over the videos I've filmed on YouTube of lifts which are unsafe. The first video is this Otis 2000 lift with weak brakes. It takes ages to stop and the brakes only just manage to stop the lift. If the brakes go any further, the lift would just run away upwards. And this lift predates the regulations of bidirectional bi-mode governors. So if it ran away upwards, the governor would not stop it because it's down only. It is quite scary how this is running with the brakes this bad.
I've got the voice back. Can I see the rig? Yep. What?
Ooh,
no.
Brakes are weak.
That didn't do that last time.
Yeah, it didn't do that.
What?
That would overrun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Don't do it at the top. Okay. Oh my god.
The next video is the Omega lift. Omega are one of the weirdest little companies. While I would normally appreciate a small scale company having their own logic, I don't when it's completely shit and dangerous. When you emergency stop this lift, it shoots upwards before stopping. I'm not sure why it takes the brakes so long to apply. All gearless lifts will shoot upwards a little bit before brake snaps on when you emergency stop it, but this one takes it to extremes and goes incredibly fast, and even then the brakes seem incredibly gentle. I'm not even sure if the brakes are properly on or something else is happening. So the video starts off of me connecting safety with a bypasser. I pull out a bypasser so safety's disconnected and the lift doesn't exactly want to stop. This is why we hate Omega. I'm bypassing. It's going to start. Now as it comes up I'm going to safety brake it. Watch out. Safety brake! What the fuck? Do we dare do it while we're inside the lift? Well, we are going to. So, getting ready for this. Getting ready, here it goes. Now! Holy fuck! And talking about Omega, here is a completely different Omega lift, and it's also completely dodgy. When on top of the lift and driver inspection, when you let go of the buttons, rather than the VF cutting and the brake stopping lift like it's supposed to, this lift stops on the VF drive, meaning it takes a long time to stop, not good if you need to stop the lift quickly. Then, once the VF drive stopped the lift, then the VF drive cuts out, the lift shoots upwards for a moment before the brake applies. Not very good if you're in a situation where you need the lift to stop right there and then. The next lift is another Omega lift. Omega lifts are so good, aren't they? When you let go of the inspection buttons on this one, at least this one seems to stop straight away rather than stopping on the VF, but it still jolts upwards in a very alarming way. The next clip is a lift I found quite a while ago. In this building, it's got an abandoned floor. I'm on top of the lift. I got up to the abandoned secret floor to see what's there, opened up the door, but I have a bad feeling. The door is so rusty and dodgy. Is this door even got a safety contact on it? Turns out, because this floor is abandoned, the engineers thought, oh, we might as well not put a safety contact in. So you can actually have this lift door wide open to this abandoned floor, and the lift will still work. In the next clip is this goods lift. This is a dumbwaiter only, so I guess it's not exactly that unsafe because people aren't meant to use it. But on this lift, I pulled open the door because it's on a weak mag lock. So it's literally not even properly locked, it's just a magnet holding a door shut. Pull it open and it sounds like the brake applies when I pull the door open, except the VF is still trying to power the lift, so the brake and the VF drive are like competing against each other, with the VF trying to keep the lift going while the brake trying to stop it. The brake wins and the lift stops eventually, but it takes ages to stop. This is completely unsafe. Oh wow, I didn't realise I had that big Amatic heck looking thing on top. Oh, freefall handle. Actually said it's mag locked. Yes. Fuck me! Fucking hell! This motor's still spinning! But it's not compliant! So the next clip I'm going to show is a clip that was sent in to me. A ThyssenKrupp lift in France, running with the inner door safety completely bypassed. In public service, with the main feature of the lift bypassed. You can open up the inner doors and the lift will carry on going. This has to be one of the most dangerous clips I've seen in Europe. So then, the next video clip I'm going to show is of those weird Asian lifts in London. Now these are some 1960s Otis lifts modernised by Asian generic, which is almost unheard of for London. You just don't get Asian generics over here. And these lifts were very strange because the interior of these lifts was very posh, but when you go on top of the lift, it was in a right state. The car top was covered in oil, it was very slippy, you could easily slip off the side of the lift. There was exposed wires everywhere with bad cable management. Like, these wires are meant to be hidden behind a cover, yet they're just exposed. It's very bizarre and quite a dangerous car top, although these lifts are very interesting.
Where's it come from? Engineer. Look at all this oil and stuff. So the engineer is going to come in and check it. Look at all this. I don't know what it is. You watch it, you will do it. I've never seen anything like this. Good, I think.